Welcome to the Vine Resources Podcast Show.
Welcome to another edition of the Divine Resources Podcast Show. I'm delighted today to be in the offices of BBOXX. I'm with the co-founder and CTO, Chris Baker-Bryan. Chris, thank you so much for joining us and letting us come in your office.
Thanks, David. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And for those who don't know much about BBOXX, and we're over in Chiswick today in West London, a global business and in some very interesting markets and doing some really interesting stuff. Please tell us a little bit about BBOXX.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you about what we do. So BBOXX is what we describe as a next generation utility company. So we try and provide energy services to clients in the developing world that don't have access to reliable electric power. So our primary focus is on Africa, where we have some 500 employees based locally down there, providing energy services to off-grid households and businesses who lack access to reliable power. We do that on a payment plan model, so we sell it in small installments, energy in small installments, which they pay weekly, daily, monthly. And essentially our business is about providing the products and the services and also deploying that into new markets. We're some 8 years old, started as 3 co-founders out of Imperial College and have scaled the business from a charity some 10 years ago to, as I said, over 500 people in Africa and then around 600 globally. We have an office in China, office here in Chiswick, and then office down in Kigali in Rwanda as well.
Fantastic. And in terms of, the type of, or how it perhaps came about, what was the moment that the business came about? There was obviously a problem that you identified.
Yeah, so some 10 years ago we started, whilst we were finishing up our degrees actually at university, we were doing some charitable projects based down in Rwanda looking at how to improve access to energy in those markets. Developed this solution which we took to a village over the course of a summer. And then we came back from that sort of process and realised actually there's a lot of people wanting to develop this solution in their own market, in their city, in their village, in their town, and wherever it might be. We had so many requests coming in from all over the world, and we thought, okay, maybe now is a chance to really turn that charitable project into something that we can really scale as a business, take on investment, develop the ideas and the products, and then try and scale it into more markets. So BBOXX was born in March 2010. And since then, we've been developing, testing new ideas, scaling into new markets. We focused on Rwanda and Kenya as our first two for many years, but over the last few years, we've really expanded. Togo was one of the big markets that we've expanded into recently, and we've had some recent news there with EDF coming on board to take over 50% of our operation in Togo, which has been a great validation of our business model and helps us really scale. These are some of the things that we're working on, and in terms of that core idea, though, of providing access to energy for your off-grid household, that still remains, the core of our mission. Providing access to energy is really important for BBOXX, and all of our employees go through that process of understanding our customer, really getting on the ground early on in their journey with the company, so that they know who our customer is and they can develop the best products and services for them.
Now, not everyone is working with companies in developing markets as such. I'm just curious if there was one or two things that you'd say the biggest challenges for you in working on the ground with those customers, managing communications. What have they been?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes back to the people that you need to find to employ there. It's not, we haven't got the luxuries we do in Chiswick and West London of the market for software developers, operational business developers. These are sort of things that we have a luxury here in terms of finding. But on the ground in East Africa, talent is a challenge, and so finding, recruiting, and retaining the best talent and making sure you can onboard them and bring them up through the business is really key for us. So we've got a talent acquisition program which we've been running for a number of years now across the business to help us find local talent within those markets, retain them, and essentially bring them forward within BBOXX. We also have a mobile workforce program, so getting people to move around those different offices globally helps the improve, motivation amongst the team. So that's one of the big important things that we've been working on recently as well.
Now, obviously with Africa, the time zones are not too bad to the UK, but you've obviously mentioned China. Tell us what a typical day in the business looks like for you.
Yeah, sure. So if I look at last week, for example, Monday we've got the typical review meeting, so looking at the numbers for the last week. One of the big strengths of BBOXX is really, the data-driven aspect of what we do. We're really about collecting information and using that to drive our business. So we're all about understanding numbers in terms of how many customers were installed, energy generated, where our issues were within the business. So that's your typical Monday. Tuesday might be working with some investors to understand due diligence material for new markets. So that's one of the things we're going through a lot at the moment, with investments into Togo, investments into East Africa, investments into the Topco as well. So a lot of eyes on us from an investor perspective, which takes up quite a bit of time. Wednesday might be working through plans for the next quarter. So I was just in Rwanda a few weeks ago working through plans for the next 3 months for all our development activities, and that engages all the business. So supply chain finance might get involved in that as well. And then, so I guess Thursday is understanding the new products and services. So you may be working with the local MD in Rwanda to understand what their forecast might be for deployment of new products over the next 6 to 12 months. And we sometimes occasionally have a bit of fun. So Friday you might have a bit of fun in the office and do something like we have a 10% time where every 2 weeks the team will try and do a new project, which is not maybe necessarily directly related to their core objectives, but helps them develop a new idea or understand how to develop a new product which is could be of use to BBOXX in the future. So that's something that we do. We like to make sure the team are creative and innovating all the time with new services. So that's one of the important parts of working at the company.
Fantastic. Well, Fridays sound good, and I think there's free breakfast on a Monday as well.
There is indeed.
We'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
Tell me, you've obviously been through a lot of change as the organisation has grown, but who perhaps has been a mentor to you, and who have you looked up to, and how have they added value?
I think one of the big things for us is very early on in BBOXX's journey, we got a lot of support from our university when we were developing the charity there. And in fact, actually, one of the original sort of key moments for BBOXX was really our old head of department from our university, who was really that spur and really allowed us to kick on and develop the charity. So he gave us some funding out of his own pocket to go and run that first project in Rwanda some 10 years ago, and he's been involved in the business ever since. We meet him at least once a year to give him updates on what we're up to, and he's passionate about making sure that back in the day anyway, students were understanding the realities of the world in which they were going to work. So I think he was really inspirational in the early days. I think his sort of drive to make sure the founders of BBOXX had the opportunity to go and do that was really important. That was the key moment, I guess, that allowed us to get the business started.
Brilliant.
And we still stay in touch with him on a regular basis.
Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about employee engagement here, and particularly again with such a widespread workforce. How do you keep the employees engaged?
I think the biggest thing is relating back to the mission of the company. Such a strong mission to electrify off-grid areas, provide power to a customer or a household that's never had it before. I think always you've got to bring people back to that central mission on a regular basis. It's quite easy for an employee that might be developing a piece of code or developing a circuit board or doing a new design or something. And it's easy for them to get lost or forget, I guess, the core mission of the business and what we're trying to achieve. So that's really important, is that regular session to remind people of the impact that we're having, remind people of the central mission of BBOXX, which is to electrify off-grid households in the developing world who don't have access to power, and reminding people about that on a regular basis, showing them the impact is probably the most important thing to improve motivation.